Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Taking Height at Apex Legends Podcast. I am your host, Anthony Angelo, joined once again by my good friends. We got Marcus Ruff.
Hello, everyone.
We got the Octrain himself, Troy Atchison.
Yo, what's up?
And then we got a couple of special guests for you guys. A special episode is going to come out on a, not in our regular bi-weekly order, but we've got Henry and Shay from Third Party. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us on the show. Always a good time to talk Apex.
I mean, thanks for coming. You guys host the Third Party Podcast, which is one of the best Apex podcasts we have, obviously. Right under us, just right there.
I love your name.
Yeah, right. Right.
Taking height, we preach that, so I totally support it.
For how much high ground we take, we should have probably come up with that name when we were brainstorming at the beginning.
You guys killed it.
It's funny you say that because obviously I was like, we had our old games podcast and we realized that we were mainly talking about Apex and we were mainly talking about Destiny, but more so just Apex in general. And I was like, all right, well, it's time to make the change because I'm not really feeling the drive to talk about everything else. And I was like, what can we do? I mean, Third Party got taken. We had, dropping hot, dropping spicy, all like the similar terms. Then I was like, you know what? If you ever watch any pro stream, everyone's always just taking height. You hear them screaming, taking height. So, that's kind of where we got it from. That's where
it fits well. It's going to translate into any future shows as well if you want to. That's the best part about it.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, you guys host Third Party. That comes out every Wednesday and Friday, right? Saturday. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I'm just really happy you guys are here. I'm really happy we could finally collaborate and make something work.
Appreciate
Anthony, it. We're happy to be here. Hopefully we get to chat about some fun stuff.
Yep. Anyways, this is Taking Height, though, an Apex Legends podcast all about the game called Apex Legends, where taking height wins you the fight. If you like what we're doing here, if you think we're doing something cool, please be sure to go and review, rate us wherever on podcast platforms and YouTube and Twitch and everywhere. Obviously, we'll go through our links at the end of the show. Podcast posts every other Monday or Friday on podcast services. If we're not on a podcast service, let us know. We will get there and we will make it happen for you. Anyways, let's talk about some Apex, guys. Troy, you been playing some Apex? I haven't really played with you this week that much.
I mean, the last time we played, I kind of rage quit because of Kings Canyon.
Kings Canyon does that. Kings Canyon is... I wanted to rage quit really bad.
Henry, should we play Devil's Advocate for Kings Canyon out here on the show?
Sure, man. I'm into it.
I don't know.
You want me to kick it off?
Yeah, kick it off. Henry's a big Kings Canyon lover, so I want to hear that.
Kings Canyon is a fantastic map, okay? I'm going to send you this, but essentially, let's talk about what you don't like about Kings Canyon, and I'm going to try to tell you that you're wrong. First thing you're going to say is Kings Canyon is too small, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, you read my mind right there. It was pretty scary.
Well, unfortunately, it's not that small anymore. If you do like a heat map of Kings Canyon on World's Edge, they are incredibly, incredibly similar nowadays. Olympus, on the other hand, is tiny in comparison to the two, like a substantially smaller map. And then you talk about Kings Canyon and you say, okay, there's so many chokes. Well, a lot of those chokes are really cleaned up, and I personally don't really experience them. And then the reason that I like Kings Canyon is that you actually have power positions, or as you guys say, height, all over the map. You got the air base, you have the artillery, you have those repulsor walls, you have all those really strong positions that you can take in order to win the game. And on other maps, you do not have the same sort of height. So I like Kings Canyon as a strategic map where you can scan the survey beacon, get best positioning, and win. But I'm happy to hear you guys' thoughts.
I think either maybe it's not the fact that it's too small. Maybe there's something different with the gun audio and the fact that the third parties are insane.
Okay, you don't have to bring us into it.
I mean, you guys, insane. But the third parties are insane. I've been I mentioned to you guys that I took the week off. I was playing Apex. I've been grinding ranked, and it's just been nightmare. Just a nightmare to do. It's
I'm sorry to hear that. And you feel like World's Edge is better?
I do. I think actually me, Marcus, and Troy all love World's Edge the best.
Yeah.
And what about Olympus?
Olympus is good. I think I liked it more last season.
Are there more third parties on Olympus or Kings?
Are you about to throw out a stat that there's more third parties on Olympus?
No, he's not. No, he's just curious.
I just have a feeling.
No,
yeah, I think there's more on Kings Canyon for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
I think the argument against Kings Canyon is the proximity and size of the POIs in comparison to the other maps. And I think there's a good argument there. I don't think it's as drastic as people on social media make it out to be. I mean, I definitely prefer Olympus and I prefer World's Edge, not so much for all the reasons I think everybody always talks about, but I think Kings Canyon gets a little bit more hate than it deserves, unless we're talking like audio bugs with all the heat shields right now.
Kings also has the most POIs and the most loot. So if you like those things.
Yeah.
Kings does have the most POIs. I do think the size of the POIs can be very small. And I think that is what I think a lot of people contribute that to being an issue with the third parties, and that you can get from one POI to the next very quickly in Kings in comparison to, I think, some other maps where there is a bit more space between them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There's
I think
more space between on the others.
I think that's why, obviously Troy's out here repping the Octane and on his Zencaster name here, but I think that's why he's seen his comeuppance. He has his jump pads are great on Kings Canyon. Like Troy, you've been playing him for the entire time we've been on Kings Canyon. It's just insane, and that's why the rise of the Rev Octane push is just like Rev Octane on Kings Canyon is just another level of insane.
Yeah.
I fully support it. Keep going. If you have to play Rev Octane to enjoy Kings, I fully support you.
Yeah.
Go out and
definitely. I think the other thing with Kings Canyon is it gets old, and then you just get annoyed by it, and you just want to go somewhere else, which is also like what causes more people to hate it, because they're tired of it, I guess.
It is the longest running map.
Yeah,
it's been around for a long time, and it's missing a lot of what made it Kings Canyon from the. It's like what was I watching? WandaVision with the Ship of Theseus thing. He was like, it is, if you replace all the parts, is it still the Ship of Theseus? Is it still Kings Canyon if you replace all the parts? Like, of the original POIs, like,
that's the best argument I've heard for some Kings Canyon slander right there. Is Kings Canyon still Kings Canyon without Skull Town and Thunderdome? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I miss Thunderdome. I'm not going to say that I miss Skull Town like crazy. I mean, it's cool, especially playing it like the night events. Like, it's a cool thing to revisit, but like, I understand why it was an issue. Obviously, the majority of the game would just land there and end there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is our third episode now talking about Kings Canyon.
I think we're all in pretty close agreement on Kings Canyon. I think Henry and I just like to keep the vibes a bit higher for the OG map that we have so much nostalgia and love for.
Work with what we got, They're giving us Kings Canyon, for exclusive multiple weeks this season. Like, we got to go for it.
Yeah, I wasn't exactly thrilled. I know, Troy, you weren't thrilled, and neither were you, Marcus, the other day when we were like, oh, it's 6 more days.
I pointed it out to you guys. Like, you guys are going to love this.
Yeah, no, it's just I wasn't expecting it. It's just like the rotation between maps is like, I feel like that's really good and like healthier, I guess, for the game, because it's just like people just get bored and then they, I don't know. That's at least how I feel.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, I especially when I was usually I'd be playing ranked, and then I go into pubs, and I'm like, oh, it's Olympus. That's a nice change of pace, because you got to think too, especially for the pros who get fatigued. Like we're fatigued because we've been playing on Kings Canyon since the beginning, and while it isn't the same map, again, I just pointed that out. It's not the same map. It is the same vibe. It's the same look, the same feel. I mean, it's brighter this season, which is amazing, and I'd argue that last season, I think all three of us began to miss it. I don't know about you guys, but we were like, oh man, I actually kind of miss Kings Canyon. But I think that it's just a pubs map. I don't think I really want it for ranked is the thing.
It'll be interesting to see if they ever split those two in a more permanent way than what they have right now from a rotational standpoint.
I think that'd be cool if maybe at some point, I don't think they would do this, but if they ended up designing a map like, hey, this is a ranked map, this is a tournament map for, pros to play scrims in and tournaments in and stuff like that. I think that could be cool, but I think it'd be a lot more work on the devs, and I don't think they'd be able to do that. So, we went off on a tangent there, but it's well worth it. Marcus, man, me and you played some Apex for like 5 hours last night. How have you been with Apex Legends?
Look, just getting the Plat 3 and then being it ripped away from me in an instant so fast was a great experience, and I'm happy I'm at least Plat 3 again.
Yeah, we were grinding ranked. You've been using Watson, which is cool. How's the you were liking the buff, right?
Yeah, if you go on the firing range and test it, you don't feel it. I don't know why. Just the firing range is not a good place to test out Legend's abilities sometimes. Or at least that one, where it's so slow. And I fail to believe that Octane actually healed like that one time, because that was ridiculous. I guess it's just because shields have way more health the more you get, and it just felt slower. But that mixed with her gen is just truly incredible and a whole different experience.
Yeah, we were rocking it last night. It
helped actually, because I ended up using like one shield cell and just healed the rest, and then I gave the rest to you or our teammate, and then you guys got the full heal off.
Especially because in that situation that we were in, we were just you don't appreciate Watson until you're out of shields. Once you're out of shields, you're like, this gen is my baby. I need this gen.
And then I start hoarding all the ultimate accelerants, and I'm like, I need these. These are my only thing that's going to keep me alive. And unfortunately, it's kind of true. It's the only thing that kept me alive most of the time.
Yeah.
What a great legend. I love to hear that.
I think I tried watching a while back before she got this miraculous buff, because we're like, oh, we need like more competitive legends. I'm like, I'll give Watson a try. Gave Watson a try. It's like, I'm not used to it, but I'm going to keep going. Kept going. It's like, all right. No, now I know if I play with my friends, I'm the only one who's going to take Watson. So I'm like, bet if I ever need a character and they start taking mine, which they have done in the past, and they've tested out characters, I know Watson's safe and I know Bangalore's safe. Those are the two safeties I have, because they won't use them.
Yeah, we don't. Me and Troy aren't really big into Watson and playing slower,
and I'm okay with that.
What a surprise coming from the Octane guy.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Ranked was fun last night. Henry Shea, how about you guys? Have you guys been playing Apex? Like, how's it been for you guys since the event launched? You liking the buffs, the nerfs? Like, what's been going on with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely been playing this season. I think I've really been enjoying. I've liked all the changes. I will say, though, if we're kind of segueing a little bit into this event and Chaos Theory, that there were essentially two major changes. You had the Caustic change and the Mastiff change. Everything else is, a little bit more minor. And I support those changes. And I'm a Gibraltar main, and like having this bleed through and the changes to Gibby haven't really been bothering me. So I feel like I've been playing well and enjoying it.
It's been a good time.
Take
it away, Anthony.
No, I asked you a question, man.
Okay, I was just gonna say it's been a good time. I haven't been enjoying it. I haven't played so much of the LTM, honestly, because the audio has just been too frustrating for me. And even since it's launched, I've gotten it bleeding over into ranked a little bit. So before the LTM, I was definitely playing a lot more since it's launched. I'm hoping it gets fixed here soon because it seems like the ring flares are getting bigger, and that's going to be a bit more interesting. And I'm looking forward to that kind of being an overall improvement on the mode. But yeah, I think Henry mentioned it well. The two big changes coming in this collection event have been fun, but I don't think anything has felt like overwhelming, as in when a long time ago we had like the Wraith rework come at the split, and that felt like it just changed the entire scene for a lot of people. I think it's been pretty steady, just a solid season thus far.
Now, my next question for you guys, so you brought up the massive changes, and it's good to hear that as a Gibraltar man, you're not feeling like the bleed through is changing it, because as someone who constantly is facing Gibraltars, the gun shield does feel a little bit overpowering at sometimes. But in regards to the Mastiff, I believe all three of us here have been picking up the Mastiff like crazy. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you that I do not feel this change at all.
Oh, I will be the first person to tell you I haven't felt the change, because I wasn't hitting for 100s often with the Mastiff, so I'm all good. It's the same weapon to me. Like, it don't make a difference. I didn't really use it before. I don't really use it now.
12, 13.
Essentially.
Yeah, why do you like the Mastiff?
The Mastiff, I can't tell you. Like, honestly, it was probably back in season 6 is when I first picked it up. I used to like it when it was in the care package, and then when it came out, I was just like, I'm not into shotguns. And this season, in particular, I have been really rocking the shotguns. EVA 8 feels amazing, even though it just got the slight bump in the rate of fire. It feels amazing. Mastiff is just like, you hit the 80, you hit the 112, you two pump someone, or you hit 280s in a row, and they're one shot, and you whip out the R9. The Mastiff is so strong, and I've heard people
in a row.
Yeah. I've heard people say, you don't have a Mastiff, you're losing. A lot of the times that's true. If you're versing a Mastiff and you don't have one, you're probably going to lose that fight. Like, I mean, most times.
What about the best shotgun?
Oh, here it comes. Sorry to feel it. Yep, there it is.
Yes.
Bro, that thing collapsed.
I did make a mistake, I think, today, where there was a gold Mozambique and I had a Mastiff or EVA 8. I'm like, I should probably switch for that. And I didn't. And no, I probably would have won that fight.
Yeah, that is definitely your first mistake there.
I don't even care for the Mastiff that much either.
I think the Mastiff and the EVA 8 are great. I think the Mozambique is the most satisfying of the shotguns, because if you hit those hammer point shots on some flesh, it feels so good.
It's satisfying to hit a normal shot with Mozambique. I'm ecstatic when I hit a shot.
I'm loving Marcus's vibe.
I mean, if we're talking about shotguns, all of them are going to be hard. You're setting yourself up for, I need to be in somebody's face, and it's still a 50-50 if I'm actually going to get the job done. Like, it's a high risk to be, fully rocking a shotgun.
Yeah, I'm not a gambling man. That's why I don't try to pick them up.
Neither am I.
I use the Mastiff a bit more between the two of us, between Henry and I, but I have never been the one that runs it as that primary that you lead in with, and that was what I felt like a lot of people were calling for it to be overpowered, because it was too pumping people, kind of like you were mentioning, Anthony. And I just think that now it fits a much better role as being that secondary of, I'm going to hit somebody for 130 to 140 with my R301, and then I'll switch to the Mastiff then, and hopefully I can get one of those two pumps off and hit them for the 60 to 80 plus and call it good.
Yeah, the 301 2 this season has just been an absolute laser. I know it's always been a laser, but like this season in particular has just felt nuts for that.
301 has been my child from the beginning.
It has been.
Never leave my side.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to segue from here. I believe we've covered everyone playing Apex. We started talking about the Chaos Thoery event. Have you guys been liking caustic treatment? Because I know that for Marcus, Troy, and I, water treatment was our spot this season, or the past two seasons. It's been our spot to land, and they took it away from us, and I'm really sad about it.
I was pretty upset.
Go ahead there, Shay. I see you raising your hand here.
Thank you. I just gotta say that I love caustic treatment. First and foremost, I always drop on the backside of caustic treatment. And in case your listeners don't know it, and I need to keep saying it out loud as much as possible, so I remember that very back room where you activate the panel, you can stand on top of those circular pillars, and it is just absolute insanity up there. You can see the people before they come inside the door, and it is a freaking laser beam death trap. Henry almost had one of the nastiest plays I've ever seen on stream because of that. Almost killed 2 people when he should have had probably no health. So it was fun.
With the Sentinel.
Yep.
Oh no, not the Sentinel.
I like caustic treatment as well, but my heart goes out to you guys. I mean, it's way, way different. They definitely mix it up, and right now we're in the honeymoon period. It's crazy there. Like, I'm sure that it's gonna kind of balance out, and for you guys, like, it's got better loot.
Yeah, Troy, you got something to say about this?
Yeah, I was just waiting for my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn, bro.
No, speaking of, so I landed at caustic and I picked up a sentinel, no shield or anything, and I popped off 5 people with the sentinel, and I felt amazing. It was I don't know, the sentinels, once you get those hits on people, it's satisfying.
So Taking Height is a fan of the Sentinel, the Mastiff, the Eva, and the Mozambique, the 4 guns that I never pick up, and I always die when I use them. So, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. To each their own. I have a question though for you, water treatment folks. I'm curious if you think, how do you guys think the end games will differ if they shrink on caustic treatment versus water treatment? Because like Henry was saying, very different POIs. There is no playing on top of caustic treatment like there was on top of water treatment.
That's true.
Yeah, that's going to be way different.
I don't land there much, so I don't tend to notice anything about that place. I haven't done my research yet. I tend to try and stay away from there at the moment till it cools down, where people think, all right, it's an okay spot now, where they see it's an event place and need to land there and grab everything they possibly can.
Marcus and I have a little bit of scars already from caustic treatment. You see, we landed there, and behind us, I see 3 red lightning trails. And
beautiful.
We then proceeded to die immediately. I think that I'm not going to speak for everybody else. I particularly tend to avoid the new POIs until probably the next season is when I start dropping there, like, actually, because I don't know, we don't drop there, like, right?
Well, no, the thing is I like to drop right as soon as we are going, like as soon as you're allowed to drop, and I haven't even. Yeah. And we just haven't been over there. Like, there hasn't been a time where we were just like, flying right next to there. It's always been near like airbase and all that, and like my house,
But a lot of times too, like, even if we drop and we're like, oh, there's a lot of teams going here, we'll veer off and we'll go somewhere else.
Oh, because, yeah.
Like, you're not trying to die off rip. You're trying to play a game for, the fun of it.
Like, get some loot and then go over there. Yeah.
You're trying to take height.
Okay. That's fair.
Just whip the pad out.
You guys definitely do the smart thing. We just proceed to drop there and kill ourselves over and over and over again, so we can try and talk about it on the pod. But
it's our job.
It's like, life's hard.
Life is hard, and I just I can't say that I'm excited to drop. I mean, I have gone to caustic treatment a few times. I landed there. Me and Marcus landed there today, or
no, we landed near there, and then our teammate's like, "We gotta go here. There's gold loot," and then he proceeded to run off on his own. Luckily, we were alone, and I hated this man the rest of the game, just because he was an ass and just wanted every gold loot possible, and just felt we were not important enough to like save or anything. So, a little bias towards that man.
He walked out in a suit of gold. He had a gold helmet, gold bag, gold shield.
And you guys won.
I wish he clutched up, but that man aim was a little off watching him, but I can't say I would have been much better, so I'll let him have that one.
Yeah. Moving on from that, The skins? How do you guys like the skins, Shane, Henry? I mean, believe we talked about the skins last episode. They're amazing. I think they're great.
I got the Gibraltar skin. I definitely really like that one. I do think that these skins are kind of all over the place. The theming seems a little bit scattered, but for the most part, I think there's a lot of really cool ones.
I am the biggest fan of the Kraber skin for the prize track, Ronin's Arrow, just because of the name, Ronin and Arrow. If anybody listens to my pod, they know I'm a huge Marvel fan. They know I'm a huge Ronin fan. They know I'm a huge bow and arrow fan. It's a perfect combo. That'll be my favorite skin in the game. I buy 2 to 3 packs for pretty much every collection event. And so I got the Rampart skin and the Watson skin, and that Watson skin is easily my favorite one, I think, out there. Even though it's a purple one, I think it looks so cool. That crystal clear white is just perfection.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of all the skins. I think they're all great skins, but like when it comes to buying them, it's not really enticed me to buy them. The only one that did, if I played Revenant, I would buy the Revenant one. I think the Revenant one is gorgeous.
Man, that one's
the 301 skin. The 301 skin is the Revenant skin, just on the 301, and I bought that because I think it's just awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I had Revenant on my title screen. I was looking at it, I was like, this skin would be really creepy if I saw this come at me. I'm not gonna lie. It's a very complacent face on a tall thing I know is coming to kill me. Nah, I'm okay. That's fine.
Well, Marcus and I, we bought everything.
Yeah, okay, look, Bangor's my main, so I had to get the heirloom one way or another, and I didn't feel like waiting. I'm impatient.
Love it.
I didn't say I was smart with money, damn it.
I think I'm
keep the game alive, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't make a lot.
With the hollow sprays or whatever from the battle pass, I'm glad that they made them the skins for this event because I really like them.
That'll be really cool.
Yeah.
You're seeing some of the bleed through here with all 5 people. Yeah, I like the skins. I think the heirloom's cool too. Obviously, I didn't get it. I don't plan on playing Bang ever because that's Marcus's baby.
It's a pretty cool one.
It is a really cool heirloom though.
Yeah.
I was spectating Marcus after he saved my banner, and it was a great run animation. Great, just even the pose where she flips it. It all looks awesome. Hats off to the animation team because they always do a great job with the heirloom and specs and stuff like that.
Except for Wraiths.
Whoa.
Wraiths was the first one.
I love Wraith. That's the only one I got.
Hold on. Just Wraith. I love Wraiths. That was my first heirloom too. But I just like inspecting it, and it doesn't do anything special.
I guess
that's the only problem.
Is not the thing I look for. I look for the cool black portal that
when you look at it. Okay, yeah, no, that's cool. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it's cool. It's just I really enjoy the inspects on heirlooms, and she just like kind of looks at hers. I want her to like spin it like when she first lands. I'm pretty sure.
That does look good.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Bloodhound when you first land with his heirloom. He waves it all through the air as soon as he drops, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. It kind of distracts me though because he's like, I want to start picking up loot and stuff.
You guys are lucky. You got all sorts of heirlooms.
Well, no, we just spend the money.
Yeah,
like
no,
I said, I'm not smart with money, so they just give me the money.
If you guys want to donate to my my heirloom fund, I don't even have one, and I'm level 500 playing since day one.
Yeah. It was unfortunate because I know I talked to you guys last year, and you mentioned that you guys were on Xbox, right?
Yep.
Mainly. We were on PS4 main, and we hopped over to PC. So we all had heirlooms on PS4. We hopped over to PC, and we had to get new ones.
Yeah, I don't have Wraiths on this. Yeah.
Yeah, Lifeline was my main on PS4, and I don't have hers anymore. Bloodhound's my new main, so I have his. But
if you can guess, I got Octanes.
I had no idea.
All right, so moving on from the actual event in a whole, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the Switch. Troy, I know you played the Switch. Marcus, I know you did the training on the Switch. I played a couple games on the Switch. Henry and Shay, did you guys play on the Switch at all?
I've played on the Switch, but I would love to hear your guys' opinions.
Can I please go first?
Yes. Can you raise your hand, please? Raise your hand.
Oh,
sir.
sorry. Yeah, got you.
Thank you. Thank you. Troy? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have something to say?
So I was having a awesome game, 10-kill game. It was me and another teammate, trios. Last 2 squads are fighting. I'm like, all right, we totally got this. No one can fucking aim in this. My game crashes and I die to the storm.
That sounds like Switch.
I was like, are you kidding me?
That just sounds like Apex to me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I was upset. I was devastated. I was doing so good. So good. I had triple taken 301, just a random, I don't know, but it was working for me. I was using triple take as a shotgun from, it basically is a shotgun.
I'll tell you guys about my Switch experience, and hopefully you guys can tell me that mine's a one-off and your guys' are all way better. But I played 2 games and the training. I went incredibly hard on the training, handheld. It was horrible.
I feel you there.
The input lag was ridiculous. I then said, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. I plugged everything in to the TV, I grabbed the Elite controller, plugged that in. I had it all ready to go. Dropped in for my first game, got 4 kills, and then just died because I couldn't shoot straight because I kept going right to left and going right past the other person by the time the game finally caught up with me. And then my second game, it crashed and it stayed frozen on the screen, and it was frozen on the screen for about an hour and a half of me looking at Bloodhound running up a hill. I just left it to see what would happen. So yeah, I didn't have a great first Switch experience. I'm hoping that there are some improvements. It's so early on, it's not to expect perfection, especially because I'm going on a little trip here in 10-ish days, and so I really want to bring the Switch with me and have that be how I play Apex while I'm out of town. And so if it can figure it out, that would be fantastic. But maybe you guys have had better experiences.
I am actually just in agreement with you. I did the training. I was like, okay, I did it handheld and in my bedroom. My bedroom doesn't have the best Wi-Fi connection. Just my router's in my living room. My bedroom's not that close to it. I mean, I don't know. My house, my apartment's small, so it should in theory reach, but it doesn't. So I did the training. I then hopped into the firing range with Troy here, and I was lagging all over the place. Not the Switch's fault. I didn't have a good connection. I was like, okay, whatever. I'll play tomorrow morning. I came in. I did the same thing. I plugged it into my monitor. Same monitor. I have my computer on right now. Plugged it into my monitor. Plugged everything in. I hopped in, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I am mid-tier plat right now. These kids, they're all like 10 years old. I'm just going to dominate. I'm just going to run through them so hard. I drop in, and the same thing happened. I'm sluggish. Obviously, the frame of view is just, so much smaller. And I'm just missing my targets. Like, it's just like, I know I could hit this, and it's just going right past it. And I got a couple kills. I think I got 3 or 4 kills. It wasn't bad. Again, I could hear my teammates who were 10 talking on their mics, and like, oh, we should go over here, stuff like that. And I'm like, whatever. And they weren't res, they wouldn't push, all the things that I shouldn't expect. And yeah, that was my Switch experience. It was.
Have you tried it, Henry?
Well, I just want to say that I like this podcast. It's a lot more story time and kind of like playing experience.
That's what we aim for. I think I just wanted to have us hang out and, I don't know, talk about what we've been doing in Apex.
Henry showed up as the guest, and he's like, "Wow, this is a great pod. I'm gonna have to subscribe and add it to my listens. I love story time."
I think I'm a listener now.
It's funny. We actually do have some bleed through. I was actually in you guys' Discord last night looking for some ranked players, and our boy Hurdle. Hey Hurdle. He popped into both of our Discords and was messaging us. So
I'm not gonna lie. I did hop on. I was expecting you to be playing with him.
No, because he said he's down to goof around, and I was hardcore grinding ranked because I really just want to get to diamond. So I wasn't trying to goof around. No offense.
Wait, Ant, what rank are you at?
Plat 1.
Plat 1.
Oh, wow.
I have like 300 points left. I'm so close to diamond.
The grind is real.
How is it on PC? Do you feel like you're at a disadvantage? You think you're in like crazy hard lobbies with like masters and preds only?
No, it's the same as it was on PS4. It's just as hard. People are just as competitive, like it's just, I think it's the same you're going to find on any console, like aside from Switch, it's the same you're going to find on any console because like, it's just hard. People are, as soon as you get to plat, it's just like a whole nother level. Obviously I've heard you guys say that you got to diamond before, right?
Yeah.
Whenever we play ranked, like if we actually commit to the split, we usually top out at diamond 3, diamond 2. Pretty I wouldn't say easily, but like we can get there with confidence
if we work hard.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys get there with confidence? Shit, is that what I'm lacking?
I mean, we got there, like I think Henry and I got to like plat 4, plat 3 in the first like 3 or 4 days of the season this time around, and then kind of just like put a hold on it till all the crazies got past us, and maybe we'll make a little push here at the end again.
Yeah, we've been getting to. I know Troy and I have. Marcus, I have full belief in you that you would have made it just as easily. You're a great player. Obviously, we've been grinding through the plat lobbies just as easily. We get to plat every season.
This is my first time getting to plat.
No, he means us.
And Marcus, always. You hopped in with me last night, and I was like, I'm plat 2, and you hopped in, and we just started destroying people. It was just you came through and you were magic.
Off my advanced look controls. I don't know why they were holding me back so goddamn hard. I switched off them. All of a sudden I was beaming people. I don't know what the hell advanced look controls are doing for me then. Jesus.
I use advanced look controls.
Dude, I swear I was using advanced look controls. I was like, at first, I was like, cool, this is amazing, this feels great. It's like, it's like I'm no recoil. And then like as time went on, it felt like it was like slowing my bullets down or something.
I will say I never turned on advanced look controls and just felt no recoil.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but if it works for you.
I mean, it felt like it was like no recoil. It was like slightly like reduced. Like I felt like a little bit easier. Like I didn't have to like pull down my stick any harder or different. It just felt a little bit easier to control my recoil.
I have it set up so my horizontal movement is a lot easier to control than my vertical movement. I don't know. I'm just like, when I feel like when they're on the same spectrum, I just can't really hit the same shots going horizontal. But then if I slow it down horizontal and ADS, then I'm a bit more consistent. But it's such like a small, like millisecond kind of thing. I don't think it makes a big difference. I know Henry's just as good, and he's on like regular sensitivity. So
yeah, I don't use advanced look controls.
I've only increased my FOV for like the last 2 seasons, so I'm slow to change.
Who are we missing here? I heard from Shay. Troy, did you talk about? Yeah, you talked about Switch because obviously you crashed and it was really bad. Henry, did you talk about your Switch at all?
Well, I was really struggling to get the Switch operational, but from what I've heard, it is just not really worth my time. A lot less frames, a lot less resolution, and this whole idea of aim drift really turns me off. So I'm not really, stumbling over myself to get on the Switch.
I was really excited for it, and it's kind of a bummer that it's not what I wanted it to be. Marcus, how was your training experience?
I did my training sitting right where I am, handheld, talking to you while playing, like setting up Apex on my PC because I knew I wasn't playing on Switch very long. I don't know why. Like, you should just not be able to play this handheld. It just should not be a thing. I don't know why they allow you to do it. It does not feel good at all.
It's for the kids. It's for the kids.
All right. Well, I feel more bad for the kids who not have to deal with that.
Listen, Tommy has his Switch, and Tommy doesn't know any better. Tommy's all the kids talking about Apex Legends.
Who's Tommy?
some random child. We stopped playing
it.
Apex was a good idea.
Change the topic.
Okay.
Getting out of control.
All right, let's talk about some news for the week. We have just actually a few things that came up after the event launched. The first thing I want to talk about is, I think, what do I have for number one here? I believe I opened them out of order, which is great. This was from 6 hours ago. So Respawn tweeted out, they said they just shipped a small Play Apex update. Matches will be limited to 2 no-fill players per game. This is a temporary measure while we solve a problem that was causing games to start with fewer than 60 players. Also, this is a great addition for right now. Anyways, the heat shield will be disabled and ranked in private matches until further notice. We are also aiming to fix some bugs with it by early next week. For those using it in the Ring Fury Takeover playlist, stay tuned. Also, the Ring Fury Stage 2 will be extended until Monday. So, yeah, I think I've been excited about the heat shield. I think it's been cool, but I'm also not expecting it. And it does add an element of unpredictableness, especially to ranked, especially when you're like, oh, I just down these people, they're in ring, of course they're dead. And then you hear whom, whom, whum. The heat shield obviously is saving their lives. So what about you guys? How's the heat shield been for you?
I've been having a good time with the heat shield. I think I've gotten into a couple like in the zone fights between heat shields, and it's just chaos. It's so hard to see through them. Like the orange tint on your screen is just so overwhelming, and so it really doesn't feel like it's meant for that, which speaks to a bit of what Apex seems to be trying to do, as it being more of a recovery tool. But I have yet to use it for that function as well either. So not really sure yet what the future of this gear item is. Hasn't been crazy overwhelming either way.
No,
we're just kind of confused at what direction are they going with this. Like, do they want to encourage in-ring combat? Because we've been working for 1.5 years to try to prevent that with legend abilities, and just how the game works.
It's true. I mean, if you look at it, you'd see Wraith's Portal got the nerf, Lifeline's Drone got the nerf, because people were using them in ring, and it just was, especially at the end game of the high top tier rings, you'd have a bunch of Wraith Portals and surviving by going through them and coming. It was chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think in ranked especially, I don't know why, but the heat shield just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I am liking the extra slot though. I've been able to use the mobile respawn a lot more by having a dedicated slot for it. Just having that in my inventory, it's been really, really nice, because I just don't have to think about carrying it, because I just have it. It's been really good.
I agree.
Sorry, God.
I was gonna say, I haven't used the survival slot a lot yet in the LCM to pick up a mobile respawn beacon, so it's good to hear that it is being effective though for you, because I think that is going to be one of the big question marks going into whenever it's made permanent for sure.
As I said, I've been using it in ranked, and it's just like that especially just having that res. I wouldn't usually have the space to pick up a mobile respawn, but having the dedicated slot has been really nice. And then as far as no fill, has anybody been using that? I haven't even actually tried that out. I kind of forgot it was added to the game.
We have not been using it, but on our stream yesterday, we were feeling it. I think we went like 6 games where we didn't get a teammate to fill out our third. So no, I'm not really like eager to use it.
Day of the patch, I played some no fill just to kind of want to be able to speak to it on the podcast. I'm not good enough in trios, and it made duos really difficult. Like, I won a couple of fights in no fill duos, and I can understand the appeal for some streamers that have been begging for it, but really not for me. I'll continue to roll with my teammates regardless.
Troy, Marcus, you guys been using no fill at all?
Yeah, no. I mainly just play with you guys. The occasional times I play by myself.
Just double checking. I know, Troy, you were talking about it last night. You were like, why is it even an option if they're not going to give me teammates anyway?
Yeah. Seriously, though.
I mean, like I said, it's already no fill already for me, even though I have the box checked, but it's all right. Respawn knows what they're doing.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I haven't used it. I'm not confident enough to go in by myself, but I know, like, like I think we mentioned it last week, but like, yeah, back off my janks, and people like that who love to go and just destroy lobbies are probably gonna be like, yeah, this is fun content to make, and more power to them. That's cool that you can do that. I definitely cannot.
I think it's their way to give content to content creators.
Love it.
Yeah. Next story we have up in our news section here, we have the Apex devs want to remove low profile. And this is really cool. This is from a Reddit post. I'm reading from Dexerto.com from Joe Craven. I'm just scrolling down here to the picture if you guys are looking alongside me. It's a Reddit post from L'Esprit I'm not going to try. Please, devs, Watson next is in regards to low profile. And then Daniel Klein responds, okay. And then Frugally Moogle says, seriously, though, please remove it from Watson. She doesn't need it at all. And it makes feeling playing her unfair when she is taking more limb damage, etc. He then responds and says, my goal is to remove it from every character in the game eventually, but we got to figure out how to nerf Lifeline before we can do that. I don't know if this is... I don't even know if Lifeline needs a nerf to have low profile removed. I think that she's pretty balanced, and as a Lifeline main, like, I kind of like stopped playing her once she got the change, just because it didn't feel as good to me. I mean, I guess she's doing what she's, that was her purpose, was to be a Lifeline to help her teammates out, but that's kind of all she does now. She's just a res, and obviously I don't think her ult is too broken there.
I don't think it's really that good anymore.
Yeah,
let me get this right. You're saying that after the season 5 change, the rework to her passive, you stopped playing, or when she got
I played her for probably another season or two.
You definitely played her in season 6, and then season 7 is when you switched to Bloodhound.
I just felt like, because I'm more of a pushing character. I like to play more of a pushing character, and I just can't do that. And when Lifeline had the fast heals, it would warrant me. I could push in, and then I could drop back and heal up, and it felt good. It just felt good to play her. But now that she's more of that team-oriented character, I kind of just dropped off. I don't know. Do you guys think she's too broken?
No, I mean, Lifeline, we talk about all the time. People always complain about the passive being too broke. We're just like, your teammate has to be knocked. That's not a good requirement for your ability to be activated. Did we love the ultimate on Kings Canyon particularly? Haven't been using it as much this season because of the uptick in loot in general. And so it'll be interesting to see if the rework is in relation to that, because we don't run as much Lifeline when we're on Olympus or World's Edge because of the lack of charge towers. I think the tactical is what it is. It's effective at times. It'll be interesting to see. I've seen some devs mention that potentially being a part of a rework as well. But the relationship with low profile, when Daniel was speaking of, was just so interesting to hear for us, because it was kind of the first time we've ever heard confirmation of low profile is maybe not so much a hitbox balancing tool, but just like a balancing tool in general for these legends that were perceived to have a bit of power. And that is really interesting, because then when you bring in Fortified into the mix in there, it gets really interesting to see what the future of the game will look like. And I think, they've admitted that they don't like having small characters and stuff, and that they messed up doing it, and that everyone else is going to be mid-sized from now on. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the future looks like yet.
I think it's positive in regards to the fact that they're removing low profile. I think that that's a positive change. I think that's something the community wants, especially just because, like, why do we have characters that take more damage? I understand that they have a lower hitbox or smaller hitbox, but like, it just feels it feels bad to play when you know that you're taking more damage. You're like, man, I just died so quickly. I'm taking more damage anyway. It just doesn't feel good.
Honestly, the 5% is not a big deal. Like, the 5% to me doesn't alter it too much. It's that limb damage that can sometimes be, your limbs acting as body damage is much more of an impact, in my opinion, than the actual 5% increase per bullet.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I hope they figure it out, and especially like I know Watson's hitbox is smaller, but just based off the character model, it doesn't feel like she's a smaller character. I would say she's the same size as Rampart, or whatever. They all look pretty much the same to me, but obviously it's a hitbox thing, not a character model thing. So good to see. Good to see them removing it. I'm really happy with I know Marcus, you're super happy with the changes to Pathfinder, because as a previous Pathfinder main,
it's kind of needed. I feel, you make his hitbox so massive and big, and then he's still taking more damage. Didn't seem quite as fair, but I mean, I still tried to play him a little bit every once in a while, but now I feel way more comfortable playing him. And I don't even feel like the low profile and Watson all the time either. It's very weird that people are begging for it off. I barely feel it, to be honest. She already feels like a mid-tier, like mid-sized character, so I don't notice the low pro nearly as much as I did on Pathfinder.
Fair.
Yeah. Next up, we got some leaks. I know you guys talk about some leaks too. You guys had Shrugel on, which is that is just like, a little applause. That was awesome.
Appreciate it.
Shrug was a great guy.
That was super cool. Yeah. But he did predict some stuff, or predict it. Yeah, he did predict it. We have the Warlord Games event, and he predicted that there's actually going to be a bunch of events this season. We have Chaos Thoery, Chinatown Market Sale, War Games event, a Redacted Story event, and then the Golden Week sale. That's a lot of events this season, and I'm pretty excited. So I'm reading from Connor Bennett over at Kickstarter.com. Apex Legends War Games event leaked. Talking about the skins, LTMs, and rewards. So, as I said, we have Shrugel predicted 9. I'm sorry, his is backwards, right? So that would be 3-9, which is obviously the Chaos Thoery event through the 27th. That's what we're going through now. It's going to be cool. The Chinatown Market Sale, which is a collaboration with a clothing brand, I believe, if I remember from his tweets, and it's going to have a couple skins that are just awesome looking, and that's just going to be a store takeover, which it's cool. I'm excited to see it. The War Games event, which we were about to talk about, a Redacted Story event, which is the April 16th through the May 4th. Sorry, it's all really screwing me up here, the fact that they're backwards. And then from April 29th through May 5th, we have the Golden Week sale, which I believe is going to be the Iron Crown stuff finally coming back, which is good to see. As far as War Games goes, he tweeted out that we have the War Games prize tracker. You get Battle Pass levels from this one. 2 charms, a Never Surrender, and a Thermite Grenade. There's no picture, so I obviously can't tell you what that looks like. An Epic Rampart skin, the Sinto Kinetic. I believe he posted a picture of that on his Twitter. Go look at that if you're interested. Epic 3030 Repeater skin, the Incan Prophecy. It looks like the one at the end of our current Battle Pass. Rare Crypto skin and Caustic trackers. So that's really cool. I think it's interesting to see Battle Pass levels be a part of an event prize tracker.
That's new. That is definitely very new. Going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's also interesting. I'm wondering how the prizing is going to go. When we had the previous anniversary event, they gave out 600 Apex coins if you had already bought the packs. I wonder what they're going to give out for people who already have max Battle Pass, because this season, and I'm already pretty close to maxed out. So curious as to what that's going to look like.
Maybe some legend tokens.
Oh, yes. I don't have enough of those. Can never get enough of those. The main leaks that we're here to talk about as far as the War Games is the LTMs. We've been talking about these on this podcast for a while. All the different LTMs, all the different ways they wish they could, play Apex. It's supposed to be 6 of them. We have Killing Time, Flare Up, Arm Drop, Armor Regen, Auto Banners, and Second Chance. So Killing Time is mass elimination and ring time shortened. I'm assuming this is going to try and be more like a TDM. It's kind of sounds, kind of like always be closing more like.
Just kind of like the ring's going to be closing. To me sounds like no knocks, straight to death.
No knocks?
That would be my guess.
Oh, that could be cool. That could be really cool.
Yeah, you get to go to the lobby faster. It'd be really awesome.
That was a really good joke.
Really interesting ideas. I am very curious about the future of these takeover events and kind of how people respond to them. This one is pretty impactful. but we're having it for a pretty solid amount of time. So I'm really curious that there's more in the pipeline, and I'm curious to see how fast they plan on cycling through.
Yeah. So then we have so it's these ones are going to rotate on a 48-hour basis. It says right here in the article.
So like a grand soiree sort of.
Yeah. Then we have flare up, short-lived ring flares spawn in batches throughout each round. I'm not crazy about ring flares, but sure, why not? That's cool, I guess.
You said 40 hours of ring flares. I got it. No problem.
Yeah. we have a week of ring flares right now.
Maybe that's what they're doing. They're prepping us for new events of just constant ring flares. Man.
I still think that we should have a pubs mode in general. I don't think that I understand that the player base was skewed in between it, and you weren't really seeing many people playing the LTMs after the first couple days. But I think that taking over the entire pubs mode is not the way. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I think that it's I don't think it's the right move.
I'm still waiting to hear more about the information and data behind it. I'd love for them to share some of that and talk about if it is improving the health or not, because if it's just going to cause people being frustrated, being locked out of pure pubs, I think I don't want to have a lot of negative vibes in the game from that.
I know. I think I was either listening. I might have listened to your podcast, or I might have read it somewhere. But I remember they were talking about how the numbers for LTMs were just so low after the first day that it wasn't even worth it to put them out anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is why I understand why they're doing this. But
yeah, we definitely talked about that. Henry might have some thoughts on it, but I know that we mentioned it because we were very interested in the player base size in general and ranked in relation to pubs, and that was kind of something we dug up and found. So I don't know.
I'm very curious about the numbers because essentially, I feel like the first year of Apex, we had some LTMs, and I always felt like I was able to get into a game, no problem. But I'd like to see kind of where that is now. And if people are still if people are playing more ranked now, or if they're playing less because they don't have the option of pubs, I think we just need to kind of see what's happening under the hood.
Yeah, for sure. Marcus, Troy, you guys, I know you weren't crazy about the ring flares taking over pubs.
I mean, I'm never too excited when they just take over pubs in general. But I mean, if it's something that I can get behind and enjoy, like the last one where we started off with a shield and like a Mozambique, and that felt like better. I had a weapon, I had a shield at from start, and all that white loot was no longer really on the floor. It felt okay that they changed, they just took over. That one wasn't, it was noticeable, but it wasn't like, oh god, I can't bear this anymore. It was more like, I want you to keep that. I want that to stay. But also I understand why, they have this, how their game is from the start. You were meant to just drop in, find all your loot. You weren't dropped in with loot. The ring flare one, I'm more indifferent about it more than hating it. I just kind of deal with stuff and just move on with it and just say, okay, cool, I'm going to move on. I'm going to play the game. If it bothers me, I just repress any known emotion towards it.
Yeah. Well, luckily you're going to like the next mode that is being talked about here, Armed Drop. Now, to me, this sounds like the Winter Express mode where they had where each legend had a predetermined loadout, but it says legends start with a loadout, dropping in hot, packing heat and consumables. To me, that's what that sounds like, is how it was in Winter Express, where each legend had a predetermined loadout. You'd pick it, and then it would rotate every so many hours.
I'm all for that. We love Winter Express. It's our favorite mode. Predetermined loadouts is a really fun extra element added into the game when they're all different. Forces people to play other stuff as well. Totally into this as an LTM.
For sure.
Yeah. Marcus, Troy, you guys down for that?
Yeah, I mean...
I'm just making sure, I don't know. I know you guys like the Mozambique and the shields, but I think this is cool. The next mode is more like how COD plays and how any other game plays, Destiny, anything. Armor regen. Shields regenerate after not taking damage for a short period of time.
So why did I just get the Watson buff?
Well, it's just an LTM. They're not going to get Watson.
I thought it was really cool in Flashpoint. So I like them playing with that idea.
Yeah, I think this is cool too. Then we got auto banners. Banner cards are auto retrieved. Loot pools loaded with mobile respawn beacons. I think this is awesome. I can't tell you how many times like it's just been, oh, if only I could have gotten your banner. If only I could have gotten your banner. You know what I mean? Like, but just you just have it. You could just run. You don't have to worry about going back and getting your teammate. Especially in ranked, that's been an issue where I'm like, I wish I could get your banner because then I have to rat the whole game if I can't. So
Shay doesn't let me die, so I don't really work with banners.
Henry and I stay together. If one of us goes down, the other one's going down with him.
You never respawn.
Nope.
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes, like, you know, if these two guys go down, they'd be like, "Wait, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't really want to play the game without you."
Oh, if it's pubs, I'm not ratting for a pubs win. If it's pubs, I'm either I'm getting the 1v3 or we're going to start over.
Dude, clutching the 1v3s is so satisfying.
So hell, clutching 1v2s is exciting for me. All right, it rarely happens.
Speaking of, you know, respawning, coming back, second chance is the last leaked event. Each legend respawns above the position they were eliminated once per match. I mentioned this to Marcus earlier, and he goes, "That's a terrible idea." And honestly, I think you're right, because if you die right above where you, or if you respawn right above where you died, what's to say that the person who killed you isn't still standing right there?
This is just Warzone. This is going to be total gulag style. You die, you come back in. We've kind of had little things like this in Apex with oh man, it's the Halloween
die,
takeover.
Respawn, die, or
live, die, live, or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
And I enjoy stuff like this where it's just really different for the LTM. I think it's going to be a fun time, especially on these 48-hour ones where you're not stuck with it if you don't like it. But I remember when Henry and I first started our podcast, one of our first episodes, we talked about like, should Apex have a gulag? And should people be able to like auto come back on their own? So it'll be kind of interesting to see it. I don't think tested is the right word, but just see it in practice a little bit more in the game.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the next story. That was a long one. We just have a tweet from our friend here, Chad Grenier. He's the game director of Apex Legends. He just tweeted out a list of hotfix, the patches, like everything that's coming in the next patch. Some are redacted because they're not in the game yet, but you could go through and see this on his Twitter. There's a list of things. I think he's just trying to point out, hey guys, we're working on it. It's coming. Like, we understand that there's some stuff that's broken in this patch. It's being worked on. Among those, I believe, is the ring flare noise, which please fix it. It's giving me a headache. I understand you're working on it. I'm ready for it to be gone.
We love seeing the transparency. That's important for us.
That's mainly why I stuck this in here. I think it's really cool of him to, and it's funny because if you're obviously on Twitter and you see the community around Apex and the devs, if you follow some devs, a couple of them tweeted out, they're like, oh yeah, the game director is just going to casually tweet out our active bugs list. That's cool. You know, surprise to them. So I think this is cool. I'm digging the transparency as well. That's really cool. Next up, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but Gibraltar did get a silent nerf in this patch. I don't know why it was silent. I don't know why it was out of the patch notes.
Yeah, we still haven't gotten an explanation on that. They seemed like they were really proud that they were working on it. So it was kind of too bad that they didn't get to parade it out. But yeah, I think it's going well.
Yeah, I know we talked about that a little bit earlier, but it now bleeds through. Anything that goes through the 50 HP of the gun shield bleeds through. In addition to that, I want to talk about some other silent leaks. I believe this was I don't know if I actually stuck this on here. I'm sorry about that, guys. I thought I did. I'll copy it and I'll paste it.
Yo, what about the other secret nerf?
Yeah, I'm talking about there now.
Are you talking about the Bangalore and Caustic one? Because you put that in there.
That's right above the Gibby one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought I skipped over it.
It's okay. We accept your apology.
Again, so another secret nerf was Bangalore and Caustics, the gas and the smoke, and just the visibility through it have been nerfed. So it has a reduced particle count for Caustic, Bangalore, and Gibraltar abilities. I'm assuming the Gibraltar is the ult. Yes, it's the ult.
Very interesting. I'll have to look into that a little more. I have not necessarily found that myself. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's a little bit thinner. I mean, I really haven't noticed it. I've been in Bang Smoke. You've been throwing it down, Marcus, and I haven't
don't
really been
notice
noticing it.
I still try to avoid, putting my teammates in my own smoke. I try and put it back a little bit so they can move into it. But I mean, if they can still see me, I'm not doubting it.
Yeah, I don't think that Bangalore needed any kind of nerf in quotes, but if you look at this, right. You can see Eric Hewitt responded. Particle FX count was lowered for caustic gas, tactical and ult, Bangalore smoke, and Gibraltar ult. So definitely a weird one for sure. Don't know why they didn't put these changes in the patch notes, but it is what it is. And our last story for the day, we have they're working on Loba's Tactical. That's been said many a times. It's been broken for a long time. But there's a workaround if you really want to use Loba. It's pretty simple. I'm reading from Dexerto. It's from Andrew Amos. Basically, I'm just going to sum it up for you. If you jump right before the Loba Tactical lands, it has better consistency.
Interesting.
Good.
Yeah. It's obviously I think it needs to be fixed, but I like that there's a workaround. I can't say that it's the best one. A lot of times you're lobbing out to maybe you just lost a fight, you got to get out of there. Jumping probably not the best play when you're getting shot at, but sure.
I'm the Loba player between the two of us, and I would love to see a bit more consistency added into her tactical. Yes. So any work that is being put into that one I'm a huge fan. I want it to be, I don't want to be worried about balancing her ability. I want to be worried about her ability, or I want to be worried about balancing her ability, not if it's working, essentially.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, Troy's the Loba player out of all of us, and I've seen you get pretty frustrated just because you should be able to just get out of there, you know? And it's especially frustrating when she wags her finger no at you and it's just
she literally is just like no.
Yeah, she said no. You are not moving. But yeah, that's everything that's been happening in Apex this week. It was actually a lot. There's a lot came out this week for it, the event just came out, but a lot of changes happened after the fact that we were able to talk about, which is cool. But really appreciative of you guys. Really appreciative of you guys coming on, Henry and Shay. It's cool. It's really cool that you guys came on, and I'm glad that I was able to contact you guys and have you on. It's really awesome.
For sure, Anthony. I mean, it was a pleasure chatting with all you guys. It's always definitely fun to shoot the breeze about Apex and talk about how the game's changing, and hopefully we're all still having fun.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
For sure. Yeah, anytime. So if anybody wanted to find you guys, where you want to direct them, just show them out, show them the door.
At third party pod on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Third party pod on Twitch. Check out the podcast on anywhere you can pretty much listen to podcasts. Type in Apex Legends, type in third party pod, will be the first one to show up there. Anything else, Henry? Did I miss it?
Yeah, that's our main plug. Hopefully we see some people over there, and we'll definitely be giving you guys a shout as well.
Thanks.
Sweet.
Yeah. So Marcus, my friend, where can people find you?
You do this, but I'm prepped this time. You can find my Twitter at Marqua9, MARQUA9, and Instagram is Hafrican1023, and that's all the socials I have, or even care about, to be honest.
Troy, my man, where can they find the Octrain?
You could find my Instagram at Troy_977. And my Twitter is TroyAtchison97, TroyAtchison, numbers 97. And yeah.
Awesome. You could follow me anywhere at Stay Super, STAYY Super. But more importantly, you can follow the podcast at Taking Height everywhere except for Twitch. They didn't like us, so we have at Taking Height _. Does anybody have at Taking Height? No, but we have the _ regardless. Be sure to tune in there and like us, review us, do all the cool stuff. Let us know that you like the podcast. Go over to third party, let them know that you like them too.
Thanks.
Because I'm assuming if you're here, you probably are already there. So, anyways, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we will be catching you in the next one.
Peace.
Later,
everyone.
See you guys later.